Welcome back, Republicans, to the House of Representatives. You remember that's the place where you're supposed to work when you're elected to Congress. I know you've been taking vacations at Mar-a-Lago or in Doral while the American people are suffering right now as Americans can't afford homes, while an unlawful war is being waged in Iran, while people are being screwed over here in the United States by Trump and his Epstein class. But time to get back to work, MAGA Republicans. And boy, oh boy, did MAGA Republicans get a rude awakening on the House floor when they tested out their Mar-a-Lago talking points, and Democrats just let them have it. This is what happens when you become so disconnected from the people, when you're hanging out with Donald Trump talking about which type of marble or onyx do you want in the Golden Ballroom versus how can we deliver healthcare to the American people? How can we help people get great educations? How can we help people get jobs with dignity where they can afford homes? Yeah, that ain't what you're talking about at the Mar-a-Lago Country Club, is it? So watch what goes down where you have people like MAGA Republican Congresswoman Virginia Foxx, and she's like, I hear a lot of Democrats talking about the fact that wealthy people don't pay all that much taxes. But when you think about it, it's really the working class people who are screwing us all over, because on the whole, they pay less taxes than the wealthy people. Even when we give the wealthy people loopholes, they still end up paying more. So it's the workers who are really the ones getting rich and making off like bandits. If you're like, Ben, you're telling me a MAGA Republican's basically saying that, and I'm telling you, is a MAGA Republican. And I'll say, play the dang clip. Let's play it.
I wasn't going to say anything during 1 minute today, but I really get irritated when people stand up on this floor and tell half-truths to the American people. One of our colleagues just talked about the fact that wealthy people pay small percentages of their income on taxes. But what he didn't say is they pay over 50% of all the taxes paid in this country, and that working class people don't pay nearly as much as they do. So don't buy the empty rhetoric of congressional Democrats.
Oh, there you have it. And then MAGA Republican Virginia Foxx is like, look, okay. I understand it. Yeah, gas jumped a little bit in the last month. You know, we're in a war right now, but you know what? It is half the price, right? Or maybe even less than half the price now as when Biden was in office, wasn't it? No, I think when Biden left, the average was $3.11. Now it's approaching $4. You just can't make up everything and attack Biden in every one of your sentences. Donald Trump's in office. Right now, things are far less affordable. Under Biden, things were being brought under control based on the mess and massacre Donald Trump left the first time. But in any event, here's MAGA Republican Virginia Foxx. Here, play this clip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will point out to my colleague that, yes, gas jumped in the last month, but it's still a lot less expensive than it was under President Biden. Thankfully, under President Trump, gas prices were cut almost in half.
Let's talk about Democratic Congressmember McGovern, because when he gets on that House floor, it's like watching an all-star basketball player in their prime slam dunk on these MAGA fools. So McGovern hears what Virginia Foxx is saying, and he's like, really? Those are the talking points you're going with? And so he goes, I heard the gentle lady, Miss Foxx, Congresswoman Foxx, I heard her speech saying that these tax cuts for the rich are really actually unfair for the rich because they still pay more, and that the workers are the ones who are screwing over everybody. Watch what Democratic Congressmember McGovern says. Here, play this clip.
And I heard the gentlelady's 1 minute speech before we got into this debate, in which she kind of defended the tax cuts for the rich and basically said we have a spending problem in this country. Okay? We have a spending problem. We're spending $1 billion a day on a reckless, illegal war in Iran, and nobody on the other side seems to give a damn about that. We don't have money to help make sure that we can lower energy costs for senior citizens. We don't have money to make sure our kids get nutritious breakfasts and lunches in schools. You know, we don't have money for anything, child care, elder care, for our veterans, for our health care in general. We're told we don't have the money. But no debate, no concern about $1 billion a day on Iran. Come on. I mean, enough is enough. The point, the focus of Congress, the focus of government should be about helping people, not screwing them over, not hurting them.
Then he's not done yet. He goes, okay, I also heard her say that under Donald Trump, we're doing better than Biden in terms of gas prices. I have a little something, Virginia Fox, you may want to know about. It's called facts. You want to hear them? Here, watch this. Let's play it.
You know, she said that, that Trump is doing better than Biden in terms of gas prices. Well, when Biden left office, the average gallon of gas was $3.11. It's now close to $3.80. It's creeping up nearly $4. I mean, that's just the reality. People can Google that. Don't take my word for it. You can Google it. And the other fact is that, if I remember correctly, Donald Trump said that when he became president, he and Republicans would lower costs on day one. Everything would go down. What a crock. Everything's gone up. Everything is skyrocketed. Everything, gas, rent, price of food, everything has gone way up. And
more from Congressmember McGovern right here. And he's like, you know what? Come down here, Donald. Golden Ballroom, Mar-a-Lago, Epstein class, grotesque, vile creatures. He doesn't say that I said that, but he meant that. Come here and let's speak. Speak to your constituents. Explain why Donald Trump, MAGA Mike, you chicken, come here, MAGA Mike, bok, bok, MAGA Mike. Come here on the House floor and explain to your constituents why it is that Donald Trump right now is doing fundraisers with photos of the dignified transfer in Dover, Delaware, with Trump wearing a campaign hat. He refused to take off his hat, his cap, during the dignified transfer. And now we learned why he wanted photos of himself wearing the campaign merch that he can sell in ads to raise money off of. So, MAGA Mike, why don't we do what they do in Parliament in Canada or in the UK? But in Canada, it's pretty aggressive. I like what they do in Canada. Go show up like in the House of Commons and duke it out. But these MAGAs are too scared to do that. Here, play this clip.
They said they would tell the truth. Instead, they protect the Epstein elites and peddle distraction after distraction after distraction, hoping it'll all go away. And at the center of it all is a president so hollow, so unwell, and so morally lost that he is fundraising off of dead American troops. I can't believe I'm saying that sentence out loud. The President of the United States went to a dignified transfer of remains ceremony. He refused to take off his ball cap. And then he took a photo of himself standing behind an American service member coming home from war in the Middle East in a casket. And he slapped it on a fundraising email asking people to donate money to his campaign. Let me say that again. The President used a dead American service member as a photo op for his campaign fundraising. And when he was asked about it yesterday, he said he saw nothing wrong with that. Can you imagine if Bill Clinton had done that, or Barack Obama, or Joe Biden? My Republican colleagues, their heads would explode. And that's what happened after Joe Biden checked his watch during one of these ceremonies. Yet not a word after this disrespectful president dishonored our troops in the most outrageous way by using them as a prop for his own personal benefit. I challenge any Republican, any single one, to come down here and defend this, Come down here and explain to your constituents why the leader of your party is fundraising off of dead American service members. I think it is one of the most disrespectful, inappropriate, awful things I have ever seen in all my time in Congress. And I doubt a single Republican will have the guts to say it was wrong. The American people deserve a hell of a lot better than this chaos and cruelty. And they deserve better than this president. They deserve better than this Republican majority. They deserve elected officials who care about them, who want to fight to lower the cost of living, who want to make their lives better and easier and more manageable. That's not what's happening here. I mean, with all that is going on, $1 billion a day on a reckless, illegal war in Iran, gas prices creeping up to nearly $4 a gallon, the price of groceries going up because of these stupid tariffs that my friends don't want to deal with. I could go on and on and on about how the Republican policies are making life more miserable for average Americans. With all that's going on,
the gentleman's
they
time
can't
has
be
expired.
bothered to come down here. I urge a no vote on this rule, and with that, I yield back my time.
The gentleman yields. Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities toward the president.
Magic Spoon is basically the grown-up version of your favorite childhood cereals. It's that same fun taste, but none of the sugar bomb. High-protein, zero-sugar cereal that still hits that nostalgic Saturday morning note. Like I said, Magic Spoon is nostalgic. It tastes like the classics you grew up with, but without the sugar crash. Each serving packs 13 grams of protein, 5 grams net carbs, and 0 grams of sugar. So it actually keeps you fueled any time of the day. Breakfast, late night snack, post-workout, whenever. They've got a bunch of classic flavors like fruity, frosted, hot chocolate, cinnamon toast, and more. That cinnamon toast, that one's my favorite. New flavors launching in January include classic marshmallow. Now that's reminiscent of a certain childhood favorite enjoyed by all. And s'mores, the ultimate campfire-inspired cereal. Those both include real marshmallows and have 2 grams of sugar as opposed to 0 grams in the original cereal, but I'm cool to make that exception. Magic Spoon also has Magic Spoon treats. These Magic Spoon treats are crispy, airy, protein-packed snack bars with 12 grams of protein, great for tossing in your bag, keeping in the car, or grabbing between meetings. Flavors include marshmallow, chocolate peanut butter, dark chocolate, and more. These feel like a treat but actually function like a protein bar, so they scratch the sweet tooth itch without all the sugar. And last but certainly not least, there's Magic Spoon granola. 13 grams of protein, 0 added sugar, perfect for yogurt bowls or a quick handful snacking. Comes in dark chocolate almond, honey almond, peanut butter, and additional flavors. All of Magic Spoon's products are easy anytime. Breakfast snack, pre-workout, post-workout, or midnight snack. Look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or at your nearest grocery store, or get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/Meidas. That's magicspoon.com/Meidas for $5 off.
More from Congressmember McGovern here, talking about just the sheer amount of money that Donald Trump is burning through. Here, play this clip.
But they're not talking about any of that. They keep bringing distraction after distraction to the House floor. Bills meant to waste time, divide people, and shift the blame from billionaires onto immigrants. That's their whole playbook. Don't look over here at Epstein elites and billionaire corporations who are ripping us off, breaking the law, and getting away with it. No, no, no. Blame the immigrants. Hey, blame trans kids. Blame Joe Biden. Blame everybody but the president and his billionaire buddies. It's getting old, and I, for one, am sick and tired of it. This president and my friends on the other side who are refusing to rein him in because they're all afraid of him is burning $1 billion a day of American taxpayer money on a war halfway around the world. $1 billion a day. Let me repeat that. $1 billion a day. No money, no more money to help seniors heat their homes. They say we don't have it. No money to help kids get healthy breakfast in school. No money to restore SNAP benefits to help seniors and veterans afford groceries. No more money to help working families breathe easier or sleep better at night. I'm just sick and tired of this, Mr. Speaker. There's always money for war. There's always money for another tax break for multimillionaires, billionaires, and giant corporations. There's always time to debate silly bills that try to shift the blame onto immigrants and trans kids. But there's never the time. There's never the time or the money to address the real and pressing issues that the American people are begging Republicans to help them with. This is an embarrassing debate. This is an embarrassing moment for this Congress. You know,
now, a big development yesterday as well was that this guy by the name of Kent, you know, this guy, he was the head of counterterrorism. He was Tulsi Gabbard's number 2, Joe Kent, right-wing extremist, as MAGA as it can be. He resigns from the Trump regime. He goes, I can't support this Iran war. I thought our whole thing is we're against these never-ending wars. Kent was a combat veteran. He served like in 11 different kind of combat missions. His wife, he's a Gold Star husband. His wife was tragically killed in I believe it was Syria in a terrorist attack in 2019. Anyway, but this guy has real kind of extreme right-wing extremist views. So I'm not trying to make any, I'm not trying to hoist this guy up like he's like a great guy, but he resigned very publicly. His resignation letter is like going to get like 100 million views on Twitter and X. People in MAGA like him, but people in MAGA are also, whatever. Well, I'll try to be inclusive about MAGA. Anyway, so here Laura Ingraham tried. No, I guess not. I don't know. Here's what Laura Ingraham says about Joe Kent, and she's like, "Oh, he's a liberal darling now." Joe Kent, the new liberal. Joe Kent, the liberal darling. Dude's the most extreme right-wing guy there is. When you lose Joe Kent, the MAGA's just the party right now of Trump, Mark Levin, Lindsey Graham, and Netanyahu. Like that's your posse. That's your crew. Anyway, here, play this clip.
But now, well, Joe Kent is the liberal darling du jour, and it's all because he's turning on Donald Trump. Now, the former head of the National Counterterrorism Center is resigning over the Iran war.
But you see how what they're trying to do now at state regime media, because they see what's going on the House floor. So then they bring on Dan Bongino, and Dan Bongino's out there saying, "Oh, I've seen so many security briefings. Joe Kent doesn't know what he's talking about." Here, play this clip.
You're going to see this with Joe Kent in the coming days. Listen, Joe's decorated history of service is beyond reproach, and his sacrifice with his family is just unspeakable. I don't even like to think about it.
His wife, who passed,
however,
who was killed.
Yeah, I mean, her name is emblazoned on a plaque in a facility I can't really talk about. And when you read the story there, it's a tough story to read. But, again, as I've said with other... Yeah, the sacrifice is beyond reproach. That doesn't mean that this current opinion is any more fact-based, because it's not. I'm really sorry, Laura. I mean, I read probably a lot more intelligence than he did, because they don't have a law enforcement function, the National Counterterrorism Center. They're an analytical clearinghouse. They're valuable. However, I had access to just about everything. And how you could come to the conclusion that the Israelis did it and there was no imminent threat here? Really? What about the anti-ship ballistic missiles, the drone program, 440 kilograms of 60% enriched nuclear material, their constant death to America chance? I mean, that's called evidence. In some limited circles, we call that, a clue. I mean, I don't know at what point you thought this wasn't an imminent threat after you've read a lot of the stuff I read. And by the way, that's just the open source stuff we can talk about on the air. I promise you, the president, has a bevy of material that if he could do the Men in Black thing and erase your mind tomorrow, if he told you right now, you would come to the imminent threat conclusion in a snap.
Okay. State regime media trying to just change the narrative or what we saw on the House floor. Then they bring on Lindsey Graham on Sean Hannity, and Lindsey Graham again is like to Joe Kent, who lost his wife in Syria. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Here, play this clip.
Don't believe that, you're wrong. To my friend Joe Kent, who's a decorated war veteran who lost his wife in Syria, what are you doing? You're giving aid and comfort to a lie. There was an imminent threat. How much more imminent could you be within 2 weeks having enough material to make 10 bombs? How close could you come? Not much.
And then finally, Lindsey Graham's closing message is that we owe our security in the United States to Israel. If it wasn't for Israel, we would be less safe in the United States. That's what Lindsey Graham says here. Play this clip.
Well, that's a bunch of BS. If it weren't for Israel, we'd be less safe. Israel has no choice to stop radical Islam from destroying it. I hope the American people understand we have no choice. You may be tired of fighting them, but they're not tired of fighting you. The only reason they haven't killed more Americans than they have, radical Islam, is we stop them before they get here. If they had weapons-grade material, they would turn it into a bomb. And if they had a bomb, they would use it because they're religious Nazis. Those who got Hitler wrong, you're doing the same thing in 2026.
All right, well, there you have it, everybody. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers, and thanks for watching.
New Meidas merch. Head to store.MeidasTouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.